Welcome to the UltraCycling Magazine show.
Another great UltraCycling Magazine show, the show about all things ultracycling as well as cycling in general. My name is Jim Lawyer. Hey, Lee, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm pretty good. Things seem to be perking right along here, and we're trying to keep our head above water.
Excellent. Well, let me tell everybody who brings us this great show. We're brought to you by the people in Ohio that do the Race Across America time stations, 41 in Oxford, 42 in Blanchester, and 43 in Chillicothe. And Race Across the East starts in 42 where I hang out. And we've also got a great guy, Mike Minium, that does the bike route signs to all through Ohio and puts them out for the riders and the cars to know that there's a race going on. If you want to pick one of those up, they're a great souvenir. You can pick them up at our time stations for $10, and that helps us keep them putting them out the next time. Also, follow us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube.
And subscriptions are free.
Yes, and I don't know why it hung up.
I don't know.
Right. There we go. It worked in testing, huh? And it's worked every other time, but that's the way technology is.
Yeah. We can blame it on Amazon.
There you go. Not tonight, I don't think.
I got a big delay going on here too. I don't know, but at any rate, we'll work our way through it.
Okay. You want to tell us a little bit about World Bicycle Relief?
I do. Jim's got a picture there he's going to show you. This young man, if you'll notice, has got these 3 canisters of water on his bike. Are they 5-gallon cans, Jim? Pretty close to it,
I believe so, yes.
And that's, a couple 100 pounds of weight.
Definitely. There. Yes, definitely.
A little guy pushing it there on the bike. That's probably one household's use of water for the day. And, of course, he's not big enough to ride it, but he can push it on that bike. And this is just one of the many uses of the remarkable Buffalo bike has, carrying water from sometimes quite a distance to a household. And we're very proud to associate ourselves with World Bicycle Relief and provide these Buffalo bikes. And if you'd like to help us do that, you can send a donation in our name by going to donate.ucm.bike.
Excellent. So, we have any updates on Sophie Ann?
I sure do. We got good news, Jim. We've got good news. He is free out of Russia. I saw him, had a video on YouTube. He was in Thailand. He got to Vladivostok. They released him. I think they made him pay a $600 fine, something like that. I would quickly pay $600 to get out of Russia. I can tell you that.
Oh, definitely.
And he got to Vladivostok, and I gather from just reading between the lines that the first flight he found went to Thailand, and he got on it.
So I totally get that. Yes.
I don't know if he's back in France yet or not, but we all breathe a sigh of relief for Sofian's well-being. So
definitely
good for them.
All right. Who do we have on for next week?
Well, we've got Srini Gokolnath coming in from, he's going to be here in the United States. He's doing the World Time Trial Championship, which is next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's here, he's going to talk with us to launch our All Indian month. So, in the month of November, we're going to have all Indians on our in our audience, and it's high time we did that because they're such a great supporter of the show, and we need
Definitely.
to respond by talking about that. And we've got several really great people lined up for that,
Yeah.
Jim.
Definitely. And if you're out there watching, comments and chat is live. So post your comments or questions for us or our great guest tonight, or just tell us where you're watching from, and we'll give you a shout out. Um, Also, one of our partners in this venture, Infinity Bike Seats, is having a sale 1025 and 1026. Today's the last day on their wonderful seats. So go ahead and get one tonight, and you can save $100.
Oh, wow.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Awesome. Lee wanted me to show everybody the front yard that we
Yeah.
created for Halloween.
If you haven't been by Jim's house and you live anywhere near us, you ought to.
If not, this is kind of what it looks like if the wind doesn't tear everything up again. So every year we put the bikes out with the skeletons on them and just have a lot of fun. So just like Halloween.
Who's behind all that? Is that you or?
Well, I'm the one that puts it all together, but it's April's favorite holiday. So
It's April says you get out there and get that in.
there you go. And
Yeah, I
everybody
can
loves
see
it.
that.
So I keep doing it. A lot of work, but it's fun. Try to do something different and better every year. You know how it goes. So is it time to get to our special
It's
guest
time
tonight?
to get our guest out here, Jim.
All right, I'll go ahead and bring him up.
Welcome to the UltraCycling Magazine, Justin Grant.
Hello. Evening.
How are you
guys
this
doing?
evening?
Good.
I do have to say this, though. When we were texting one another and it came through as Justin Grant, I thought, well, that's my grandson. His name is Justin Grant Mitchell. And it got me kind of confused. And I hope I don't get confused tonight. Welcome, Justin.
Hi. Nice to
And
meet
the
you guys.
reason why we have you on the show is because we spotted your name as the first person to finish this year's Michigami. But Jim, let's test him, tell a little about his cycling background. Lives there in Brooklyn. Not a great venue for cycling, maybe, but what brought you into this crazy sport?
Um, the New Jersey Randonneurs brought me into the crazy
Nice.
sport, basically. Yeah. I discovered randonneuring last year. And before that, it was mostly just kind of sitting on the indoor trainer doing laps around Prospect Park. And I was just I wanted to know how far I could go, like what was the limit to how far I could reach, and I wanted to find people who were of the same, who had the same questions, and I found the randonneuring group, and I did a few rides with them, and I learned about what PvP was, and I tried 200K, and then I learned they went all the way up to 1200K, so I went through the ranks in those. And then I found out people race these things. So after that, it was all downhill from there. Basically, I've just been pushing myself a little bit further at a time. This is the first year I got into racing, so I'm very grateful I was able to pull out the win on my first race. But I'll be very excited to continue to improve.
Excellent. So, were you a road biker before you got into long distance? Or did you just start with long distance?
I wanted to be a road biker. I thought I wanted to get into road racing. In Brooklyn, we have these races that we do regularly around Prospect Park,
Mm-hmm.
and I started training about the end of 2022 to get ready for the 2023 season. Worked for about 6 months, and then in my first bike race, I got into a crash. Just kind of, a bunch of people went down in front of me, and I went down with them. And so I thought to myself, I don't know if it's a good idea to continue with road racing, but I still wanted to ride my bike.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned about triathlon and time trials and all that kind of stuff. And the idea of time trials was really interesting to me because I feel like it's a lot safer.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already had a running background from high school, so all I had to do was learn how to swim. So last year I taught myself how to swim, and I did a few triathlons and worked my way up to a half marathon.
Nice, excellent.
Not half marathon, but a half Ironman.
Half Ironman, yep.
Yes, and the more I did them, the more I realized I did not like running anymore. So this year I decided I was just going to focus on biking, and that's where the ultra cycling races came into play.
So many cyclists we talked to came to the sport by way of triathlon and decided that cycling is what they really like. Of course, we don't talk to the people that say swimming was what they really liked,
Yeah.
But very good. Jim?
So on Michigami, I know you came in first. What kind of time did you post? Did you break a record or something?
I posted, I believe it was 83 hours.
Mm-hmm.
3 days, 11 hours, and some minutes. The previous record was 4 days and I want to say 15 hours.
Okay.
And I'm struggling to remember the name of the person who had it before me, but I have a huge amount of respect for him. And then before the race, I had been stalking all of his social media to figure out what he was bringing, what times he was expecting to set, because again, this was my first race. So I was not familiar with how the whole thing works. I mean, I'd done randonneuring, but those were, the demands of a race are, I think, a little bit greater. But yeah, so I ended up setting a record by a little bit over a day. And
that is awesome. So you crushed it, basically.
I think I did pretty well. I think I had the advantage that the race is new.
Right.
So we haven't had years and years to build up, and not to say my past competitors were not a good cyclist, but there's just not the time yet,
right,
for the event to have built up a wealth of times to set and beat.
Did you learn anything from this first race that was different from randonneuring that you're going to take with you for your future races?
I learned a lot about sleeping. One thing that when I do the randonneuring events, I do them fast, but I often get a lot of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good way to do it, but I think you have to match the amount of sleep you get with the length of the course. And I think that for something, I won't say short, because 1,100 miles isn't short, but in something that can be done in 3 to 4 days, you can be a little bit more liberal with the amount of sleep that you cannot get instead.
Yeah.
So I was definitely on a shoestring budget in terms of sleep. I probably could have eked out a little bit less, but I'm not sure it would have been the safest thing on open roads.
Gotcha. Now, what's this deal with maple syrup?
Oh yeah, that's I was just kind of doing a lot of research into efficient fueling methods, because during a race you don't. I feel like the winner of these races is not usually who goes the fastest, but who just stays on the bike the longest.
Right.
So I was looking for the most concentrated carbs that I could get, and the things that kept popping up were honey and maple syrup. And I already knew that I love maple syrup. So I started experimenting before the race with just putting maple syrup into these little soft flasks and sipping on them when I would go on the rides, and it was great. So that was my main method of fueling for anything that's fast, where I just need to be able to store a lot of carbs, and I won't want to have to stop relatively often. I did the same thing this last weekend for the Psycho 48 time
Yep.
trial. I went through 2 liters of maple syrup on that.
Wow. Now, do you do anything else besides maple syrup as far as hydration and food when you're on these rides?
Yeah. I feel lucky in that I can continue to eat the same thing or drink the same thing day in and day out, and I don't really get too much flavor fatigue or anything like that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
crave different flavors, but I like to mix my own drinks for the most part, or like boil things down and put them in a flask and things like that.
Okay.
Lately, um, I've been testing out like a 90 grams of carbs an hour. So I just bought like a really big bags of fructose, crystalline fructose,
Yep.
and maltodextrin. And I've been if I'm going to go on a 6-hour ride on my indoor trainer, I'll get 6 bottles, line them all up with 60 grams of maltodextrin and 30 grams of fructose, and pour them in. And then every hour I'll make sure I've drank one. Um, and it works out pretty well. And for the electrolytes, honestly, it's just salt most of the time, table salt or sodium
Okay.
citrate. The sodium citrate helps me get the sodium content up without the drink tasting too salty.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I try to DIY most of it because I don't like to spend too much money on it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're riding a lot, the nutrition costs can get really, really high.
Yes.
So yeah, I know, like I use prepackaged products when it makes more sense logistically for the event you're doing. Like if you just need something prepackaged and quick, and you don't need to have to carry it all on your own, like a time trial.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, especially in training, it's my own stuff mixed up.
Excellent. Lee?
Well, let's back to the sleep thing. How much sleep did you get?
I made it to the end of Michigami on about 6.5 hours of sleep. It was 90 minutes on the first night, and then I got a long 3-hour block in a hotel on the second night. And then on the third, I'm saying night, but I call them legs because really the days and the nights just kind of blended together.
Mhm.
I don't even remember what day it was throughout most of it. I didn't sleep through the third night, but from time to time, whenever I felt it was unsafe to continue, I was just kind of finding a bench somewhere or somewhere quiet that I could sit the bike up and then just lay down for
Mhm.
um, 30 minutes and take a quick nap. I found out that my helmet is, when you're really tired, just about anything's as soft as a pillow. So I
There
kind
you
of just
go.
set the helmet down. But
Yep.
I read or heard somewhere about this thing called a NASA nap, where it was determined that 26 minutes of sleep
Mm-hmm.
is the most amount of sleep or something like that you need to be rested, but without starting a REM cycle that will wake you up groggy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would lay down, tell my phone, set a timer for 30 minutes. I figured I'd fall asleep in 2 to 4 minutes. And I would knock out, and then I would wake up and I would keep going.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd heard the same thing about the NASA, and the Army does the same thing with their
Yeah.
people. It's a very short, quick nap, and you feel rejuvenated, etc.
Yep.
Yep. So, did you have any mechanical issues, or how did you prepare for mechanical issues on this long rides?
Yeah, so very fortunately, very, very fortunately, I did not run into any mechanical issues, but I think I was very well prepared for anything to have come up.
Mm-hmm.
I was running tubeless because I just heard that it can, the puncture protection can be pretty reliable for smaller things, and it seemed like the course didn't have any particularly dangerous sections where I'd have to worry. There was a little bit of gravel, maybe 10 miles worth of gravel on the
Mm-hmm.
whole race. I wasn't incredibly worried about it, but I brought an electric pump with me. I brought a regular pump with me just in case the electric one failed. Um, uh, I brought uh, what do you call it? I brought a little extra sealant, something to fix the cores on my uh, uh, the valve cores if
Yep.
they break. And actually, that's the one mechanical I did have in the hotel. I went to refill my tires with air, and the valve core just popped out.
Yep.
And luckily, I brought a valve core tool to be able to sit it back in and then fill up my tire.
Very smart.
I honestly probably overpacked a little bit just because I wasn't sure what the temperatures would be like in the night in the UP and stuff like that. But I think I was definitely satisfied with with my preparation.
Excellent.
And luckily, I didn't have any mechanicals.
Gotcha. Great. Now, how do you handle the mental aspect of long distance riding? How do you deal with that?
Well, you mentioned in the when you were talking about me being from Brooklyn that it's not the best riding, and I'll say for endurance riding, you would be right. So most of the time, my endurance training when I'm outside and I don't feel like going too far away from home is just to ride in Prospect Park, which is a 3.5 mile loop. So if I'm gonna ride around that, I'll do probably like a century is, I believe, about 27 laps around it, and I'll usually do probably 30 or more. So I'm used to the monotony, and where and I also have the running background where you just run in a circle all day.
Right.
So I don't have much trouble keeping my mind entertained. I kind of just go into my own head. But I also this year started using those over-the-ear bone conduction headphones.
Yep.
So I can just throw on a couple podcasts or music. Oftentimes for music, I'll just find a song that I like and put it on repeat.
Yep.
So that I don't have to think about changing it. And so I'll just be listening to the same thing for hours and hours and hours on end. And it just becomes rhythmic and meditative. And it's just the kind of state I get into.
Excellent. Lee?
I had some bad experiences with that daggone bridge, and I always have to ask people, have any problems getting across the bridge? Did you get delayed there at all? I assume you took the bridge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mackinac City Bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did have trouble finding where the bridge authority was to get over, but it was actually quite quick. Once I found them and let them know I was going over, I waited maybe 5 minutes. I told them I was in a bike race, and then I told them that I was in first place. And the guy told me, "Oh, if you're winning, we're going to get you over this bridge fast."
Nice.
You must have found the people that were having a good day.
There you go. You're giving away all your good secrets, man. Maple syrup, then say, I'm in first place, and they get their cross.
Yeah. Everybody should be telling them they're in first place.
There you go.
But yeah, it was great. Everybody that I met along the route was so warm and so nice. I was a little worried about going into remote areas like that in the night and just being unfamiliar with the territory, and it was completely unfounded. It was an extremely warm place in terms of the people. There were random people that would find me in gas stations and would say, "Hey, you're doing that bike race. I've been watching the dots."
Yep.
And they would want to take a picture or something like that or wish me luck. It was really cool.
That's good news. That's good news that people are finding out about it.
Yeah.
I've never ridden that route. I've ridden, through the urban areas of Chicago and what have you. I've driven through Gary and Chicago many times, traveled it by train and by bus and what have you. And as I understand, it's not that much difficulty getting through there on a bike. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, tell a little about that.
Which areas in particular?
Through Gary and East Chicago and Chicago.
That part is probably the biggest blur because
You
especially in the
don't remember
beginning,
that.
yeah, we were going so fast in the beginning. I think the first 100 or 200 miles we were clearing probably like we were going, I think we were doing faster than 6 hour centuries for the first
Wow.
maybe 100 or 200 miles. And I just kept looking down at my computer like, this is not going to be possible for the entire thing. So I was just kind of following wheels at that point. Obviously, it's a non-drafting race, so we were following as closely as we could. But I'll say the bike paths as you got closer to Chicago, they were good. They did have lots of tree roots in them that kind
Hmm.
of made me very happy to have the Trek bike that has the slight suspension in the
Hmm.
rear seat, so it was a little easier for me to ride. But it felt very safe, at least the course. The roads that you were on, for the most part, were not too busy, and in the busier sections, you were on separated bike path. So I did enjoy that aspect of it.
Excellent. So, what are your future plans as far as races and your next big long distance adventure?
I don't. So obviously, I did Psycho 48 last weekend,
Hmm.
and I had an amazing time at that. I cannot wait to do that right again next year. But I don't necessarily have any plans on the calendar yet. I kind of just ride my bike and I have fun. And if I find something that looks fun, I go and do it. So I
Gotcha.
know there's a 6 hour time trial on gravel that they do every year in Staten Island called the Great Gobbler. And
Hmm.
I've wanted to do it every year, but I never had a bike good enough that that I felt comfortable riding over gravel on it. But this year, when I got my new bike, it has the clearance for 38 millimeter tires,
Okay.
which I know nowadays in gravel, they're going all the way up to like 2.2 inches.
Yep.
So, but just the fact that now I feel I have a bike that is able to go on gravel, I know I'm going to do that race. And I'm probably going to get destroyed, but I know I'm going to have fun doing it. So that's the most important thing to me.
Gotcha.
I love to win, but I want to have fun more than anything else.
Gotcha. Now, do you ever have any thoughts of doing like the Race Across America or the Trans Am or anything like that?
I would be much more interested in Trans Am than in Race Across America, just because personally I enjoy the suffering that comes with bike racing and the demands of it and everything like that. But I have a hard time putting that responsibility on other people, and by that I mean having a support crew.
Gotcha.
Like for even for the race last week, I keep mentioning Cycle 48. My
Hmm.
my wife came down with me, and I feel like it was just as demanding on me as it was on her.
Definitely.
And it's a lot to ask of myself for these races, but I think for me, it's more to ask other people to participate, and it can
Gotcha.
be. I feel it might maybe a little bit more boring for them because they're doing less and stuff like that. Trans Am, I would love to be able to do it in the future. The issue is the time demands. It's like a
Hmm.
three week race,
Right.
so it's hard to fit that in when you're working a full-time job. But if I
Gotcha.
ever have the chance in the future, I'll definitely try it out.
Excellent. Lee?
Any thoughts about any of the overseas races?
I haven't traveled very far with my bike yet because I don't have a bike box, and I've been a little bit afraid to get one and try it just because I've heard a lot of horror stories. But after this year, I've committed in my mind to getting one because there's way too much out there and way too many interesting races for me to confine myself to races that I can reach by train. So I think I'll have
Well,
to
we've
start
got
looking
some
into that.
nice events here in Ohio we'd like to make you aware of, and come and join us.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah, let me know. I'm interested.
Yeah. Now, do you have any sponsors you want to give a shout out to, or are you looking for sponsors? Or
No, I'm not sponsored. I do race for the Verrazano Team Racing in Brooklyn every
Okay.
once in a while. I did their duathlons and triathlons that they're doing. But no current sponsorships. I just like riding my bike for the most part.
Hey, that's awesome. There you
And
go.
do you have any charitable interests that you're supporting?
Well, no, not at the moment. I mean, I participate in charity rides. Like just yesterday, I worked with a group, the Bear Mountaineers, BMTR, on
Okay.
Zwift. We did a 500 kilometer indoor ride for metastatic breast cancer research.
Nice.
And yeah, it's a cause that is important to me because my mother is a breast cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough race, and I only got about 90 minutes of sleep before it. But
Wow.
it's a really important cause, and I try to make sure I'm there for it every year. So
Yep.
I've done it twice. I've been there twice, and if I do it a third time, I'll be there.
And you mentioned Swift. Do you do most of your training indoors then because of where you live, or is it kind of 50-50 or?
In the winter, I definitely retreat to
Okay.
to the trainer, but especially in the warmer seasons, I'm trying to get out as much as possible.
Gotcha.
And usually, I use the randonneuring events as my test bed for longer races and stuff like that.
Excellent. Lee?
Well, I'm just going to ask about randonneuring. If you're kind of where you got your start, you're still involved in that.
Yes. Yep. I still mostly ride with the New Jersey Randonneurs. I do want to get, having rode in Chicago and knowing Sarah Rice, I do want to try and get out there for some of their events. But it's a 19-hour train ride, so that is definitely going to be dependent on me getting a bike box and being able to fly.
Mm-hmm.
But there was just a ride with the New Jersey Randonneurs yesterday, and I missed it because of the indoor ride. But I know they have, I think, one more in November that I'm definitely going to be doing it. I think it's just a 200. Well, I won't say just. It's a 200K, but I'll definitely be there for that one.
Excellent.
Well, I think there's some great bike packing equipment out there, Justin, and I don't think I've heard of a lot of problems with this. I know it's been years since I've flown a bike, but I never had any trouble with flying my tandem around the world. And so I would encourage you to think about that. And hey, Paris is coming up in 2027. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's something to think about. That's a great event.
Yeah, I'm interested in trying it out.
And when you go like with a group, you got a lot of support around you to help you get organized and packed and what have you.
Yeah, that's what's cool about it. Because you can draft in that style of event,
Mm-hmm.
it's much faster. And every randonneur, if you've been doing it for any length of time, they've asked you if you've done PvP before. So I feel like I have to do it just so that I can say yes.
It's the queen mother of all brevets.
Right.
Excellent. Lee, I think I'm
Yeah, I got to say this has been a great conversation.
Definitely.
Glad to get acquainted with you, and we're just happy to introduce you to a wider circle of UltraCycling, and people will be looking for you out there on the road and be hearing from you. Keep us informed what's going on. We might want to try to follow you on some other event a little more closely, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. It was nice to meet you guys, and thank you for
definitely.
opening up
Thank you
your
very
platform
much.
to me.
And keep
Thank
riding
you.
safe and keep it up because you're a tremendous athlete with the work you did at Michigami.
Thank everyone for watching. And thank you, Jim, for being a great help, as always.
Oh, thank you, Lee. And I think it's time to find one of our people that chatted, Gregory, out there.
You can find Greg, and don't go away, Justin.
I'll be here.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.